Good day, students. I am by name Masun today. I will be taking you in agricultural science. Hope you guys are fine. Our topic for this discussion, we are going to discuss wheat. We are going to look at what is wheat. Wheat is, we all know what is wheat. Wheat is all over. We can see it around us, and we are going to discuss it. Now let's look at the definition of wheat. Wheat is defined as any plant growing where it is not wanted or planted. That means any plant that is growing where it is not needed, that plant is considered as wheat. Take for instance, if you are a rice farmer and you discover that maize is growing in your rice farm, definitely, since that maize is not planted by you and that maize is not needed in that farm, so the maize is considered as a wheat. When we say wheat, we are not referring only to grasses and others. Any plant, based on our definition, any plant growing where it is not wanted or planted, where it is not needed, that plant is considered as wheat. That's the definition of our wheat. Characteristics of wheat: wheat produce very large number of seeds. Wheat are aggressive and persistent. That means wheat can compete with our crop plant. Wheat sometimes matured at the same time with the crops. Once if you plant your crop, because of the persistence and aggressiveness of the wheat, they will mature at the same time with the crop. Most wheat seeds have very long period of viability. It means wheat seed can stay for a long period of time and it can still germinate. Number 5 characteristics: wheat seeds are efficiently dispersed by wind, water, animals, and explosive mechanisms. That means wheat can be dispersed by either wind, water, animals, or explosive mechanism. These are the agents of wheat dispersal. Wind can carry the wheat seed from one place to the other, and water can also carry wheat seed from one place to the other. The same thing with the animals, human beings exclusive. Human beings also exclusive. It means we can carry them from one place to the other. That's the characteristics of wheat. Now let's look at the effects of wheat on our crop plant. Wheat compete with crops for nutrients, space, sunlight, and water. That means wheat can compete for nutrient. The nutrient that is supposed to be meant for our crops, it will be used by the wheat. And space also. They also compete for light, sunlight, and water. Some wheat harbor pests that attack our crops. Most of these pests it is the wheat that harbor them and keep them. They hide under the wheat and attack our crops. Some wheat are poisonous and cause stomach upset in man and livestock. Some of the wheat are very poisonous. They are not good for human consumption or animals consumption. So once if you eat them, it causes stomach upset. Wheat reduce the market value of crops, especially the cereals. You will agree with me that once if the crop is infested by wheat, there is that tendency that some of the wheat seed, okay, you will harvest the crop with some of the wheat seed, and therefore it affects the market value. Take for instance like rice. Once if the rice is contaminated with wheat seed, definitely that rice will not be good for market or even for human consumption, for you to eat it. The last one, removing the wheat, is laborious and increased cost of production. Yes, for you to wheat your farm is laborious, is tedious for you to wheat the farm. These are the effects of wheat on our crop. Some uses of wheat. Some wheat serve as food to man, like water leaf. Human beings eat water leaf. Okay, they serve as source of food. Not only water leaf, there are other wheat that human beings do eat. As livestock feed, yes, we feed our farm animals with wheat. There are wheat that we feed our farm animals with, like the Guinea grass, Gamba grass, Bahama grass, and Northern Gamba, and the rest of this wheat. We do feed our animals with, so they serve as livestock feed. As medicine,
Wheat also serve as medicine. Okay, they have what medicinal values. Some of the wheat have medicinal properties, like the Imperator cylindrica. We use those wheat to cure some certain diseases in both human beings and animals. So they serve as medicine. The fourth one, wheat protects the soil from erosion. Yes, the wheat protects the soil from erosion. Once if there is water, there is runoff water, the wheat serves as an obstacle to the runoff water to reduce the level of erosion in that particular area. The fifth one, wheat help to improve fertility of the soil. Yes, once if the land is allowed to fallow for some certain period of time, definitely because of the leaves of the wheat, and once if they decay, they serve as they enrich the soil, so they improve the soil fertility of that particular area. These are some of the uses of the wheat. We have so many other uses of wheat that we cannot list them all. Now let's look at the types of wheat. We have the annual wheat and perennial wheat. Annual wheat, these are wheat which grow and complete their life cycle within a year, within 1 year, just 1 year. Such wheat are considered as annual wheat. Any wheat that will now grow and complete its life cycle within a year is considered as what? Annual wheat. Then we have the perennial wheat. These are wheat which grow and complete their life cycle in more than a year. They complete their life cycle in more than a year, in more than 1 year, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10 years or whatsoever. So this type of wheat is considered as perennial crop. We said another simple way to classify wheat is according to the shape of their leaves. Okay, we can classify wheat according to the shape of their leaves. We have the broad leaves and then the grasses. We have broad leaves and grasses. We have broad leaves, wheat, and then we have grasses and edges. These are the classification of wheat according to their leaf shape. Now let's look at some of these common wheat, the wheat that are very common around us. We are going to look at their common names and their botanical names. We have the stubborn grass, which is called Eleusine indica. Common stubborn wheat grass is called, the botanical name is called Eleusine indica. Now we have the goat wheat, which is called Ageratum connoisseur. Ageratum connoisseur. Then we have the cedar wheat, which is called Cedar acuta. Cedar acuta. We have the Bahama grass, which is called Cynodon dactylon. It's called Cynodon dactylon. Then we have the Guinea grass, is called Panicum maximum. The Guinea grass is called Panicum maximum. Then we have striga. The striga is called Striga harmontica. Striga harmontica. The striga harmontica. Then we have spear grass, which is called Imperator cylindrica. Imperator cylindrica. Imperator cylindrica. Then we have carpet grass. Carpet grass is called Axonopus compressus. Axonopus compressus. It's called Axonopus compressus. Then we have wheat pig, which is called Boravia diffusa. Pig wheat is called Boravia diffusa. Then we have mucuna. It's called Mucuna utilis. Mucuna utilis. We have other wheat, plenty wheat that we can list them. Different wheat. We have the northern gamba. We have northern gamba. We have southern gamba. We have Kudzo. We have stylo. We have waterleaf, bush green. Different wheat. So these are just few that we are going to consider. We have other wheat. You can still check other wheat. Now let's look at ways or methods of controlling this wheat. Since we said wheat causes a lot of damage to our crops, they compete for sunlight, they compete for water, they compete for nutrients and the rest. Then how do we control this wheat? How do we control it? Basically, there are 3 ways of controlling wheat on our farm. Number 1 is the cultural method. We have the cultural method of controlling wheat. The cultural method of controlling wheat. This involves the practice of crop rotation, flooding, burning, mulching, cover cropping, and the rest. Definitely, in cultural practice, there must be what? You have to adopt a good farming system in order to control the wheat. Just like crop rotation, which is also called shifting cultivation. You can adopt that. You can also adopt burning. Burning is also a cultural method. burning is also called, you can mulch it. It's to suppress the wheat, mulching. These are cultural methods that we use to control wheat on our farm. Another one is the biological method. We have the biological method of controlling wheat. We said the biological method involves the introduction of some insects and herbivorous animals to farmland to eat up the leaves of this wheat. So in this type of biological method, you have to introduce some either insects or use different other diseases to control the wheat. In biological method of controlling wheat, we can also use this biological method, use other wheat to control other wheat, like the parasitic wheat. You can use it to control other wheat. Then the third one, which is called the chemical method. The chemical method. In chemical method, this involves the use of chemical solutions called herbicide. All of us will know what is herbicide. You can use herbicide to control the wheat. But there are two types of herbicide. We have the selective and non-selective herbicide. Okay, you can use both the two for controlling wheat. In selective herbicide, you only select the wheat and kill the wheat and leave the crops on the farm. Okay, take for instance like maize farm. You can use selective herbicide like striker, which is a selective herbicide. You can use it to control wheat on your maize farm. You can also use selective herbicide to control wheat on your rice farm and other farms. So that is selective. While in non-selective herbicide, it kills anything green. Anything green. So you use that one in what? An uncultivated land where you have not planted anything. You can use the non-selective herbicide. These are herbicides. These are chemicals we use in controlling wheat on our farm. So with this lesson, these are the few things that you need to know about wheat, and then we'll continue from there. This is my contact number. You can use it, and in case if you have any problem or difficulty, you can meet me, or you can reach me on this number on your screen. I think that is the end of our lesson for today. In our next lesson, we are going to look at crop pests. So read on crop pests. That would be our next lesson.